I could be on a beach. I look around me, I see sand, I see the ocean, I see some rocks, I see sticks. Well, Nomad Fitness dictates, well, hey, this is my dojo. Sand is a perfect environment for practicing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's a perfect environment for practicing controlled falling, rolling, coordination. Sand is a perfect environment for practicing balancing exercises on steroids because everything is harder to balance on sand. The ocean, perfect. Do I have a surfboard? Well, let's take the surfboard and go out to the ocean. That's a full body workout. Well, what about strength? What about muscle gain? Take a rock, goblet squats. Take a large stick, overhead squats with the feet on the sand so that the muscles in the feet actually have to adapt and balance the body as you're doing the overhead squats. Every environment can give you a more effective workout than any gym on the planet. And that's my guarantee. I've traveled the world through over 60 countries and even more environments. And I've seen the power that nature gives. I've seen the environmental power present to create the optimal physical form. You see, Nomad Fitness is addressing a problem that us nomads have. Gym memberships are impractical because we're not in one space. So we need a way to use our environment anywhere we go to create the optimal human form. And you can see, not showing off, but I've been doing this for a while. And I think, especially for my age, I'm 41 years old, and this is the best shape I've ever been in. If you see pictures of me when I was 28, 25, I didn't look like this because I was domesticated, among other reasons. I was living in a city industrial complex. I was going to the gym 3-4 times a week. I had the discipline, but I didn't look like this because Nomad Fitness is about more than just the body. The body and the mind are connected. The nomad life releases so much layers of ego and karma and teaches the body to adapt to that new form. And that's what Nomad Fitness is all about. Hey, I could be on a mountain. Perfect. A mountain training is better than any gym. I'm at altitude. I can train cardio because if I can train cardio at altitude with a reduced amount of oxygen in the air, when I go back to sea level, I'm that much stronger, that much gains. So in a mountain, I'll take my backpack, which every nomad has. I'll fill it with firewood or with rocks, and I'll climb to the top of the mountain. And the next day, I'll jog to the top of the mountain. And a week later, I'll run to the top of the mountain. Way of the sword, Nomad Fitness, no fear, no hesitation. Use the environment that God has given us wherever we are in that moment to create the optimal human form. Keep the body guessing. Just like our nomad ancestors, they weren't doing push-ups every day. They weren't doing bench press. They were doing what they had to do. Hunting a woolly mammoth is very different than hunting a deer. Gathering nuts takes a different set of coordination than packing up and traveling and walking. Every single muscle was used. The body was constantly guessing. The body constantly had to be in a state of adaptation. And this is what creates the optimal human form because we humans, our superpower is adaptation. The moment we stop adapting, we start dying. This is why our species as a whole right now, our bodies have changed and not in a good way. We stopped moving and our bodies started dying. They started closing up. They started becoming calcified. I'll see a tree and I'll be like, oh, perfect. We can use that tree for pull-ups. We can use that tree for straight arm hangs. I have another technique where I wrap my blanket from my room around the tree and use it as a sparring partner. So this is now a nomad punching bag. There's always something to do. We always have an environment to work in. We always have a body. The only missing piece was the technology and the know-how to connect the environment to the body. And that's what Nomad Fitness is all about. Our innate and optimal physical forms is that of a nomad, because that's what we've been for 95% of our evolutionary history as Homo sapiens. Listen, humans are really not what they seem. In a very real sense, I would argue that we humans are the most unnatural species on the planet for so many reasons. When we look around at our day-to-day lives, driving in a car, going to work, sitting in a cubicle, Some of us who are more health conscious may have a gym routine. We hit the gym 2, 3, 4 times a week where we'll go on the machines and we'll do some leg presses, maybe some squats, maybe some bench press. And those are the best of us. Most of us, unfortunately, don't have a regular fitness regime. So we were really sleeping in our beds, waking up, looking at our phone in our hands. Then we drive in our car like this. Then we work like this and we come back home. You know, so many billions of people are in this lifestyle around the world. And it's been that way since at least half a century, going back even further to the Industrial Revolution. It's been like that for such a long time that it may seem normal. But I'd like to invite you to zoom out and to imagine our entire history. Our species is about a quarter to 500,000 years old, depending on the science that you follow. Let's use the 250,000 number so that we can be more conservative in this back of the envelope calculation. So 250,000 years ago, the first modern Homo sapien, our species, appeared. For 250,000 years, more or less, we were hunter-gatherers running around, hunting, gathering, eating whatever seasonal fruits, nuts, and animals were in our vicinity, following the patterns of migratory animals and birds, walking, running everywhere. And then somewhere around between 10 to 12,000 years ago, we humans came up with a very interesting innovation. More than interesting, we came up with a game-changing innovation called agriculture. The agricultural revolution is what transitioned human beings from hunter-gatherers to very much the blueprint of society that we now embody. That is, living in cities, living in settlements, trading with our neighboring cities, sometimes warring with our neighboring cities. It all started in the agricultural revolution. Now, from an evolutionary perspective, this was good for our species, but keep in mind, evolution is amoral. Evolution only cares about the number of genetic copies of a species. So from an evolutionary perspective, the agricultural revolution was beneficial because it allowed us to reproduce more. We stayed in one spot. We had a more reliable source of food, of dairy, of wheat, and we were able to reproduce more. So evolution was like, good. But evolution is not all wise and all knowing. It only has that one metric that it looks at, how many genetic copies of a species there are. In our particular case, as Homo sapiens, the move from hunter-gatherers to domesticated settlement dwellers has had negative health implications. And I'm going to talk to you about the negative physical health implications, which have only become more exasperated over the past half century, even the past decade, with the introduction of mobile phones. I've always thought it is strange that we go to the gym. Going to the gym seemed to me to be some sort of evolutionary psychology bridge. Speaking as a man, women are attracted to a fit physique. Why? Because in their evolutionary psychology from our hunter-gatherer days, a good physique meant that man is a good hunter, a good protector. Of course, in our modern society, we don't hunt. We buy our meat from the grocery store. And while there is some correlation between physical strength and the ability to protect, if we are living in a society or a city, we usually call the police before we need to exert our own physical strength for protection. Practically and realistically speaking, the features that make our body attractive, going to the gym, having big muscles, are no longer pieces of our reality, and yet they are found attractive. And this has always struck me as fascinating. almost like going to the gym and lifting weights. It's an evolutionary relic, an artifact of times past. Nonetheless, we know that being in good shape, it's not only to be attractive. There are massive internal, psychological, and mental health benefits as well. The pervading question is, what type of fitness creates the optimal human body? Is it yoga asana? Is it lifting weights? Is it martial arts? Is it cycling, the spinning class? Is it surfing? What creates the best body? Nomad Fitness provides a unique answer to this question. The philosophy of Nomad Fitness is that for the majority of our time in this human Homo sapien form, remember, the agricultural revolution was only 12,000 years ago. We've been in this form for 250,000 years. So if you just do the quick math, 95% of the time we have been in these physical bodies, we've had an extremely different life. And only the last 5% of our history have we been domesticated. It's a blip in the evolutionary timeline. Evolution doesn't work that fast. Evolution created this body over 250,000 years. And only for the last 10, 12,000 years, we've dramatically altered our lifestyle. Well, evolution doesn't work that fast. It doesn't work so fast to change our body in real time. If it did, then modern women would find nerdy guys more attractive. And I'm not talking about on a mental level. There are many women who are attracted or sapiosexuals and attracted to nerds and all this kind of stuff. I mean, on a purely physical level, if evolution worked that fast, because our society has changed so fast, women should immediately see a guy in a shirt at a cubicle typing stuff, and she should immediately say, like, oh my God, he's going to be a good protector and provider. Because technically, in our society, he has a better chance at providing than, let's say, somebody who has a lot of muscles or who's in great shape. But evolution doesn't work that fast. That's why the muscular form is still considered more attractive than a non-fit form. So this philosophy of nomad fitness is, yes, we live in a modern society. Yes, we have modern technology and science, and the jobs that we have today are totally different than the jobs that we had 200,000 years ago. We are no longer nomads. Our minds have evolved. Our collective consciousness has evolved. Our technology, our societies have evolved, but our bodies have not evolved that much. Our bodies are still in the era of hunter-gatherer nomad bodies. So logically, nomad fitness, nomad philosophy of working out must be the key to unlocking our optimal physical potential. So what does this mean on a practical level? Is it weights? Is it yoga? Is it martial arts? Is it swimming? Is it this? What is it? It's everything. Because that's exactly what our ancestors did. They looked around their environment, whatever environment they were, and they had to adapt to that environment. So when I look around this environment, got a green field, got a pool, and I'm presented with the option of going to the gym, I would say no. Why should I go to the gym and do bicep curls? What is the functional utility of bicep curls? I have grass here. What can I do on grass? There are specific exercises inspired from yoga that I can do on this soft grass, the grass acting as my natural yoga mat. Push-ups are always available. And push-ups, when done properly, is a full body exercise. I look over there and I see a pool and I say, oh, I can do CO2 training in the pool. That's going to train my lungs. It's going to train my resistance to fear. It's going to train my resilience. I'll submerge myself under the water and punch, jab, cross, jab, cross, jab, cross, jab, cross, jab, cross, as much as I can on one breath and do that 10 times. I will take technology from Qigong and from yoga and combine them with the environment around me. You see, a nomad was not a bodybuilder, but he certainly wasn't weak. A nomad was not a long distance runner, but he could outrun any one of us. See, a nomad was well rounded. It's a well rounded physique. Why? Think about our advantage as human beings. What is it? On a surface level, we'd say, well, we're really intelligent. We're the most adaptable species. True. I agree with that. But what does the ability to adapt actually mean on a physical level? You see, mind and body are connected. If we have the most adaptable mind in the animal kingdom, which I think we do, it means that we have the most adaptable body in the animal kingdom. Humans are geniuses at movement innovation. It may not seem so right now because we are locked, we are calcified in certain movement patterns. But actually, there are things that we can do with our body, the level of motor control that we have with our body, not even our close cousins, the chimpanzees and the bonobos have. That is because of our minds, the way that our mind has formed, the neuroplasticity that we can embody. Now, neuroplasticity is a two-edged sword. That's why we can get so calcified in certain body positions. If 8 billion humans are on their phone, this is going to be the new human form. If 8 billion humans are nomads, this is going to be the new human form. We can embody either one. And other animals aren't like that. That's what makes us special. That's what makes us special. Flexible mind, flexible body. So with Nomad Fitness, I'm going to show you how to use the environment around you. And it could be any environment. And we're going to use cutting edge technology to make the workout hyper customized using LLMs and artificial intelligence. So what that means on a practical level is you will snap a picture of an environment, like this environment behind me, a less tropical environment. And you'll say to the AI, hey, I want to do a 30-minute workout targeting straight arm strength and balance. And in an instant, using only the environmental factors, a workout will be generated that's hyper customized to your requested workout. That's the power of Nomad Fitness. It's the power of technology combined with the power of philosophy.